Well, hello there. I welcome you all back to the second part of this interview with Captain Purnendu Shorey. I'm absolutely loving it. I hope you too were enjoying. So let's get on with some serious questions and hear his voice on those. So, sir, now let's shift towards some of the serious questions that I'm sure that you would like people to know more about.
Sure.
So looking at the current maritime scenario from a mariner's point of view, sir, so you feel positive or concerned about all the changes that is taking place around this world, sir, this marine world?
It's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. I'll speak of the positive first. The positive which I see is that there is definitely way more enhanced focus on safety. Uh, People are, by and large, at least expected to be safer on ships. Uh, Hopefully, the future is going to be even better. When we talk of the concerns, I'll break it down into two. One is the general concern, which I find in terms of ships all around. And by the nature of one of our businesses, I actually get to step on a ship at least 4 or 5 times in a month. So I am not disconnected from the sea, and thankful for that. I love the feeling of going on board. So when I go on board, one of the concerns which I see is that yes, people are in general uh, overburdened. There's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of checklists to fill up, there's a lot of procedures. Uh, Definitely, a lot of them are necessary, but then there are a few unnecessary ones as well. So that is one area, and because of the lesser number of people on board, so you find that the people who are left back are definitely left back with more work to do than they should be doing. And smoke rooms are unfortunately like morgues nowadays. They're dead, they're empty. People literally just have their telephones and their laptop screens, and they're all watching content, as they call it, in their cabins, etc. So that is the one part of shipping which I don't really enjoy anymore. I think it's become very monotonous. I think it's become boring at times, and that should change. I see it's changing. There are some fantastic young people out there who probably resonate with what I used to do when I was sailing 20, 30 years ago. Um, that's one concern. That's global. And when we talk about India, and I'll straight away jump into the concern that we are voicing nowadays. Uh, we are not very happy, and in fact, a lot concerned with the way recruitment of cadets, trainees, all ranks, whether it's on deck, engine ratings, saloon, etc., has been going on, and also dovetailing to the fact that a lot of junior officers are not being hired. Fourth engineers are becoming a rare thing on ships nowadays, and there's a mismatch in what we are actually doing and what we should be doing. So these are the two concerns which I can voice.
Those are some really very serious issues that you've raised. So you recently was a part of a survey of unemployment of the maritime graduates, and the survey showed some scary figures.
Yes.
So what was your reaction to it, and why do you think such scenario is raising its head?
The last decade or so has seen an unprecedented increase in the number of students that have been taken into the maritime colleges. Uh, this is across the board in India, in all ranks. Um, that was good because there was a need of officers in the future as per those calculations then. But in between, we just fell off the track somewhere. We had too many institutes, too many students. Um, Not all of them got placed, which is not what I'm saying, but the numbers say. The survey report, what you're referring to, is just 2 weeks of work. It's not even the tip of the iceberg. If you actually ran this survey, if you actually ran this survey for 3 or 4 months, it would not only be alarming, as I've called it in the survey, it would be downright scary and ridiculous. Uh, so that is what happened. There has been course correction. There's been some really hammering work from the offices of the Director General of Shipping, especially over the last 1.5 year, with regards to how this should be streamlined. But that said, the backlog is seriously large. And even as we move forward, it's not as good as it might look in the circulars or in the procedures because of the you know, ill forms of recruitment that take place, and students, parents, I'm also concerned about the parents who actually put up a lot of money and time, are being pulled into this matter. So it's a situation which everybody is aware of. Let me be very clear about that. It's not that offing were the first people who brought it up. A lot of people are aware. They don't know what to do about it. Well, neither do we completely know what to do about it. But we feel that it's time. It's reached a point where this really needs a very loud voice. It needs some thinking heads to come together, some like-minded people who can speak in the same language and just get down and do something about it. Otherwise, God bless you guys. I mean, 2 years later, I'm so sorry to say this number is going to be something that we will not be able to control.
So is there anything particular that you believe to be the biggest contributor to this? Anything that you can name of?
So it's a mix and match of things. One is that we got a lot of private institutes about 15 years ago because of the requirement of officers, which was a good thing. Uh, they sprung up everywhere, and it's rather unfortunate that the numbers which were being inducted did not match the actual requirement. Otherwise, this would have not happened. And it's tricky because India largely serves the ship management part of the business. Ship managers get ships, ship managers lose ships. Ship managers are also subject to whatever the owners say. For example, nowadays ship managers are struggling, literally struggling, many of them, to go back to the owners to say that we should have extra berths for trainees on board. Because as the BIMCO report is now suggesting, that we'll again have a shortage of officers in the next 2 to 3 years. You cannot generate officers in an oven in 5 minutes. They have to go through the entire training. They have to finish it. So to answer your question, how did this happen? It probably happened because there was a mismatch in the intake and the actual requirement. And it went uncontrolled or unmonitored for some time. Still, it reached a point where now there can be a course correction, which also is not going to be 100% effective for many reasons. And all this put together has come to a situation, and this is entirely our opinion, where it needs immediate attention.
Really is scary to listen to this, that this all is just the tip of an iceberg. So
Yeah,
if you dig up,
yeah, it is.
it's really scary. Can you please share with our viewers the concept of marpool and how do you see it solving or at least reducing their employment related issues?
So every coin has two sides. I mean, I know it's a cliche, but it's also a fact. Because the moment you say that you have a lot of unemployed students or trainees who've come out of colleges, and mind you, we are also going to talk about unemployed fourth engineers. We are also going to talk about unemployed junior officers. So when you say that, that is one part of one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is that you actually have a large pool of trained talent, and this trained talent has to be then taken out of the country, taken globally, and presented to the world in a form that we have the people, and if you have the opportunity, they will live up to it. This did happen once earlier in the 80s when there was a big recession. There were a lot of seafarers who were jobless for a very long time. I have my own family members who were, master license holders sailing as third mates. I also had people who were second engineers, etc., who were working in stores and shops at that time. Yes, there was that, and then there was another time when we really had a shortage, where mechanical engineers were introduced into the system to say that you could do a 1 year bridging course and come and join a ship. So currently, we are at a situation where we have an excess of trainees and a serious amount of excess. We have an excess of junior officers, at least in the fourth engineer level, I can say for sure. But I also get a lot of third mates who keep knocking doors. That's we also don't have a job. And we are coming to a situation where the senior officers are reducing in number because we aren't promoting so many people. So 3 or 4 years down the line, if this goes uncorrected, we have a problem. But at the same time, we have a MAR pool, we have a maritime pool, we have a pool of talent that is already trained. There may be some gaps, I must admit. All training institutes have not really lived up to the same expectations, cannot, I guess, but they haven't really, been the same. So there are many times when my friends at ship owners and ship managers tell me that some of the students are, well, I've used that term and in my report as well, unemployable. And I haven't received a lot of love for that word, but it's a fact. When you are not
Yeah.
when you're unemployed for a long time, there will come a time when you will be unemployable. So if they become unemployable and they end up working at Swiggy or Zomato, it's a loss to our industry, and it's a scary situation. So the concept of Marpool is to sort of sensitize the world, the shipping world, of the talent that is growing in India and allied industries, because trust me, all of them will not get a job at sea. And this I'm willing to put all my money and time on as a challenge. All the trainees who we have in this country will not get a job at sea. Some will get, some won't get.
So, due to this raising scenario, there is also another issue that have raised its heads, and that's fake agents.
Yes.
So, how do students deal with these? How do they keep themselves aware and keep themselves safe from these fake agents who are sitting there to just take away the money?
As an industry, we have to take responsibility, and I'm very much a part of it, that we have allowed this situation to happen. Uh, the number of people who have been fooled by what you call fake agents, or what people may have other terms for. Uh, I've also learned of terms such as service charge, or whatever
Yeah. Yes, sir.
these coined terms are. But awareness is key. And even if you look at it for that matter, we have embarked on a mission of counseling students about the industry and the do's and don'ts. We didn't really even have a very systematic counseling for the students. The counseling is done by the colleges. Well, let's face it, the colleges need to fill up seats, right? So education in terms of the technical part is one part, but awareness has to be done at a very high level and very soon and very quickly, and we are willing to do that. So once that comes in place, and I must tell you one thing, I'm very glad. It's been a month since we published our reports, and we have already received close to 8 or 900 complaints from students about what they have read on various platforms, and now they are alarmed, and they have sent it to me that, sir, post it, that we are aware now that we are not going to get fooled by these things.
So I think that's a positive side now that you mention it, that nearly 800 to 900 issues have come up in front of you. So I think people are getting aware. Can we put it that way, that students are becoming aware of it?
Yes,
Yeah.
they are, but it's our job. So
Yeah.
we have to be ahead of the ones trying to mislead them. We cannot be behind them.
So, sir, before we end this session, it's been a lovely session. Before we end this, can you share with our audience how they can deal with this unemployment related issues, mentally, physically? How do they deal with it? Can you share some tips or some advices?
Okay, so as someone rightly said, advice is the worst vice, but still, since you asked for it, I'll give it to you. Uh, Frankly, it should start at the roots. Anyone trying to pursue a career in this industry should be educated, should be made aware. Those who've already jumped into it have to be ultra aware, because they are basically the bait. They are the victims, so they have to be aware. And now, when you talk about mentally, I'm very glad you brought this up, because everyone knows that mental health has become a very large question mark in today's world. And unfortunately, COVID has only added to it. So
Yes, sir.
I don't want to sound I am absolutely a teacher in this subject, because I'm not. I'm just a simple mariner. But I can tell you one thing, having dealt with younger people in thousands over the last 5 years, thanks to Nautica and my own children, I feel that don't lose hope very soon. Uh, don't always look for shortcuts. There are a lot of students who also come up to me stupendously saying that we are willing to pay to get on board. Uh, Now that has to stop. and that has to stop. So be aware, uh, be strong in what you are doing, ask the right questions, and go to the right people. You will get your answers.
So that was it. We humbly thank you, Captain Purnendu Shorey, for coming and giving his time to us. Thank you, sir. It's been an absolute amazing interview.
Thank you so much, young man, and take it up, do well, and I will have to sign off because there are a few of my followers who always want to hear this. So I'll end up with saying, stay safe, stay happy, and keep rocking. Bye bye.
Yes, sir.